occupation continues to bomb Gaza as domestic and international pressure grows to free hostages. The US and UK say their navies have intercepted Houthi drone attacks in the Red Sea. Saudi Arabia and United Nations approve $11 million to support displaced people in Yemen and Sudan. Welcome to Yemen Today TV. This is the English news from me, Shazad Dilbey. The Israeli occupation continues its air, land, and sea bombing of the Gaza Strip for 72 days. The Israeli aggression resulted in the death of about 19,000 citizens and the injury of more than 52,000 others. 70% are women and children. Today, dozens of citizens were killed and hundreds were injured in Israeli bombing on many areas of the Gaza Strip. At least 20 citizens were killed in a bombing by occupation aircraft that targeted many homes in the old city of Gaza City. U.S. Central Command said a U.S. destroyer with guided missiles shot down 14 drones launched by the Houthis in Yemen in the Red Sea. This report has more details.
Top Biden administration officials are actively weighing options to strike back at Houthis in Yemen after the Iran-backed group launched new attacks on naval and commercial ships in the Red Sea. The Pentagon has in recent days moved the Eisenhower carrier strike group from the Arab Gulf into the Gulf of Aden off the coast of Yemen to support a potential U.S. response to attacks, said one official. The military has also provided options to commanders to strike the Houthis. The Biden administration has been reluctant to respond militarily against the Houthi attacks on commercial shipping in recent weeks, for fear of provoking Iran, which backs Hamas and Hezbollah in Yemen, as well as the Houthis. Previously, the Pentagon had recommended the administration not to do so, but a significant uptick in attacks in recent days could potentially lead top U.S. officials and national security officials to change their calculations. The destroyer USS Carney, operating in the Red Sea, shot down 14 one-way attack drones launched from Houthi-controlled territories in Yemen early Saturday morning. Meanwhile, a British destroyer, which had recently arrived in the region to protect commercial shipping, also shot down a Houthi drone. On Friday, a Houthi drone struck the Liberian-flagged motor vessel in the Red Sea, causing a fire. The same day, Houthi forces also launched 2 ballistic missiles towards the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, one of which struck the Liberian-flagged motor vessel Platinum 3. U.S. warships responded to attacks at the same time. A Pentagon spokesperson declined to comment on the ongoing operations. The assault has had a significant impact on the commercial market. Maersk, the world's biggest shipping company, on Friday halted all shipping through the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, a vital passageway for cargo and energy shipments traveling between the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
American media sources confirmed that the Pentagon is studying the possibility of launching a military strike on targets belonging to the Iranian-backed Houthi militia in Yemen in response to the continued attacks on the ships of the Red Sea. American officials stated that the Pentagon is discussing the possibility of carrying out direct strikes on Houthi military targets as concern is growing in the American administration about the Houthi attempts to disrupt global maritime trade. The head of the Egyptian Suez Canal Authority, Osama Rabia, said the navigation movement in the canal is steady and that the Suez Canal is closely following the ongoing tensions in the Red Sea. He added that the authority is studying the extent of the impact of the ongoing tensions in the Red Sea on the navigation movement in the canal. Some shipping lines announced that they will temporarily avert their flights to the Cape of Good Hope Plain. The government team negotiating prisoners and abductees' future revealed that a new round of negotiations is going to take place in January 2014. He stated that the round of talks was scheduled to be held in Switzerland in recent weeks, but the Houthis refused to hold it in Geneva and requested for it to be transferred to Jordan or Oman before it was postponed to another date in January 2014. Massan project to clear mines destroyed new amounts of mines in Shabwa Governorate. The project stated that it was able to destroy 200 landmines and explosive devices. The destruction process included 210 anti-tank mines, 30 anti-personnel mines, and 42 unexploded shells, in addition to 7 explosive devices. The air defenses of the government forces north of Sada shot down a Houthi drone. This comes 72 hours after 2 Houthi militia drones were shot down in the same axis in light of a military escalation launched by the Houthis. A new Houthi photo exhibition came to reveal the number of their killings. However, the real numbers are even more shocking. This report has more details.
In parallel with the continuation of the anniversary activities to glorify the killing of the Houthi group, a new Houthi photo exhibition revealed that the number of the group's deaths had risen from one district in the capital Sana'a to about 3,000 dead after their number was 1,000 dead in 2021. The Houthi group turned the wall of one of the lands on Western 60th Street into an open gallery of pictures of 3,000 dead people from the Ma'in district in the center of the capital, in the context of its effort to perpetuate the culture of death and killing among the population, especially the young and the employees subject to it. The group posted more than 20 large square and wide banners. Each banner contained pictures of 150 dead, most of them young men and children, and they belong to 3 neighborhoods in the Ma'in district. In early 2021, the group transformed the wall of the new parliament building on the same street into a similar exhibition with pictures of about 1,060 dead people from the same district of Ma'in. The neighborhoods in the same directorate also ranked second in terms of the number of deaths, followed by the neighborhoods of the Asr neighborhood in last place. While the source confirmed that the pictures in the exhibition are not the final tell, but rather a small part of the general total number of the group's deaths on the front lines from the Ma'in district alone. Some of the families of the dead revealed that the group didn't include pictures of her family members were killed at the exhibition and previous exhibitions, at a time when most Yemenis in the group's areas of control are still living in miserable living conditions as a result of the coup and the Houthi war machine. The group continues, as part of its annual glorification of its killings, to hold and organize hundreds of pictures of those killed on the front lines within the neighborhoods in the district of the kidnapped capital Sana'a and its countryside.
An international report confirmed that the war has been going on for about 9 years in Yemen. The World Bank said in a recent report that the number of Yemenis suffering from hunger every day increased by 6.4 million people in the last 9 years of the war, as the number rose from 10.6 million in 2014 to 17 million people in the current year. The Famine Early Warning System Network expects that Yemen is going to top 31 countries in need of humanitarian food assistance. The analysis added that the number of Yemenis who are going to remain in urgent need for food aid will rise from 18 million this December to 19 million next June. Saudi aid agency and the UN Refugee Agency signed 2 agreements worth $11 million to support refugees and displaced people. This report has more details.
Saudi aid agency KS Relief and UNHCR signed two agreements worth $11 million to support refugees and internally displaced people in Yemen, Sudan, and Chad. The first agreement granted a $7 million contribution for shelter and relief items to 14,000 displaced families, or around 84,000 individuals, affected by the crisis in Yemen. The agreements were signed on the sidelines of the Global Refugee Forum in Geneva by Supervisor General of KS Relief and the UN High Commissioner for Refugees. Senior advisor to the UN High Commissioner for Refugees and UNHCR representative to the Gulf Cooperation countries praised Saudi Arabia's support for the UN's aid efforts, stating that this generous contribution will allow them to continue provide life-saving assistance to some of the most vulnerable people in Yemen, Sudan, South Sudan, and Chad. He added, in light of the ever-increasing humanitarian needs of millions of forcibly displaced people around the world and shrinking resources, we need our partners to step up their support now more than ever before. KS Relief's Assistant Supervisor General of Operations and Programs said, "The signing of these agreements comes as an extension of the Kingdom's humanitarian role, supporting affected and needy people around the world and alleviating their suffering as much as possible." He noted that the Kingdom has provided UNHCR with a total of $319 million over the past years. UNHCR figures showed that as of October 2023, 21.6 million Yemenis have been dependent on humanitarian assistance, including 4.5 million internally displaced people and 71,800 refugees and asylum seekers.
Coming next in the news. War-affected Yemenis struggle to access education amid conflict.
Sea tortoises in Yemen are prone to extinction, with 90% of them are female. The severe gender imbalance will continue until it brings about the complete loss of sea tortoises in Yemen.
لا ضعيف الذكور، وخاصة في الفترة الأخيرة هذه، يعني قبل هذا شهر يناير هذا تحصل أكثر شيء ميتين الذكور على الشواطئ من الوسط هذا، يعني مليان الذكور ميتين، يعني كثير، يعني باليوم نحصل 10 حبات 15 حبة مليان منهم، يعني وخفوا بالكثير ما شيء زي أول، لأن أول كان تحصل لهم مخلوطين الذكر والأنثى، الآن أكثر شيء الإناث.
هناك دراسات عملت في كثير من المناطق الساحلية في المنطقة الاستوائية، وأثبتت ارتفاع نسبة الإناث مقارنة بالذكور لتصل حتى إلى نسبة أكثر من 90% من نسبة الفاقسات، وبالتالي سيعرض نسبة الذكور بشكل عام إلى التناقص، وربما خلال أعوام قادمة إلى الانقراض للذكور من السلاحف البحرية.
Welcome back. The World Bank revealed that the Houthi militia blocks and hampers surveys conducted by the World Bank. It accused the militia of obstructing its work in the areas under Houthi control, and this obstruction includes obtaining official approval from the Houthis before starting to implement the survey and imposing restrictions on the place and time of researchers' visits to specific areas. The Customs Administration in Al-Mahra destroyed medicines. Media outlets reported that the amount that was destroyed and confiscated because it entered the country illegally in violations of medical import laws and regulations. Despite the difficult circumstances that the people of the cotton camp in Hadramaut live in, this did not stop them from searching for knowledge, and with simple capabilities, they decided to build a chapter that carries stories of determination. This report has more details.
The personal efforts to increase knowledge appear from time to time in light of collapse witnessed by the education sector in Yemen and high illiteracy rate to reach 30% according to international organizations. From the center of the cotton camp in the city of Hadramaut, the determination and insistence of its residents to learn and acquire knowledge is evident. despite the difficult circumstances in which they live. Members of a marginalized community with simple capabilities and personal efforts decided to build a classroom filled with stories of determination and challenge.
These students are displaced from various governorates. Their economic situation is very poor and they need a suitable environment for education.
The new class includes 40 learners, including mothers, children, young men, and women, all seeking to acquire the knowledge and skills that will enable them of integration and excellence in their society. The classroom consists of simple metal structures made of zinc sheets, and this initiative is considered a positive step towards providing educational opportunities for this marginalized group.
Thank God, they have now begun to learn how to read and write, and the adults also want to eradicate illiteracy and learn like their children.
Despite the isolation and challenges, the residents of the cotton camp continue their journey towards learning and personal development, and with this determination and will, they build bridges of hope for a better future for themselves and generations to come.
The ambassador of Yemen in Cairo, Khalid Bahah, presented his credentials as an ambassador of the Republic of Yemen to Egypt. He conveyed the greetings of the chairman of the Presidential Leadership Council, Dr. Rashad Al-Alimi, to President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, praising Egypt's position in support of Yemen. Here's a reminder of the main headlines. Israeli occupation continues to bomb Gaza as domestic and international pressure grows to free hostages. The US and UK say their navies have intercepted Houthi drone attacks in the Red Sea. Saudi Arabia and United Nations approved $11 million to support displaced people in Yemen and Sudan. This is the end of the news. Thank you for watching.